do with that either, because I understand managers need time. I appreciate he's a young manager without much experience at this level. The reason I don't trust Maresca is one thing. You keep choosing Robert Sanchez, who is statistically the worst goalkeeper in English football at the moment. Forget the Premier League. I can't think of a more unreliable goalkeeper at this moment in time. And you literally dropped him against West Ham because he's not good enough. And then you play him in the cup and you say you're taking this competition seriously. You are not a serious manager if you play this goalkeeper. I said he was going to be the downfall of Maresca. And if he plays again against Brighton on Friday, more fans will think the way I'm thinking, which is the fact that, listen, you want to play bums, you're going to look like a bum. And that's how I feel about Maresca at the moment.
It's a bit harsh,
Alex, look, mate, I feel your pain.
Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing as well as you can. This is a video to address... Jesus Christ. What happened outside Brighton? What happened in Brighton and what's been happening for the whole season, as well as other factors as well. Maresca, I think that there's one key factor to him getting sacked. There is one thing that will put everyone over the edge and has already put me over the edge. I'm already in the camp now that I don't trust Maresca. I don't think he's fit to lead our club forward in the future based on what I've seen. Robert Sanchez, you cannot put your faith in a goalkeeper like Robert Sanchez. I mean, Maresca's made some interesting decisions this season. I'm not a massive fan of inverting fullbacks, touchline wingers as well at times. They can be very isolated. And if you had a fullback that was up there to support them, I think it would make their life a lot easier. These are all things that could be debated, but Robert Sanchez, you don't even need to watch football to see how bad our goalkeeper is at Chelsea Football Club. And he is going to cause so many problems. He is causing a lot of problems. He's causing fans like me to lose faith in a manager that otherwise I'd probably give a little bit more leeway to. The fact that you dropped Sanchez for Jorgensen against West Ham, I thought it was a step in the right direction. I really did. And I was so happy. I was genuinely happy. I predicted we'd win the game just solely on the basis that we had a different goalkeeper. And then we bring back Robert Sanchez for an FA Cup tie against Brighton. And we think that we are an ambitious club. We feel like we have a manager that maybe could lead us forward. That's how we felt in December. That's how I potentially felt. I mean, I was certainly enjoying what I was seeing. I was there at Southampton where we created a chant for Enzo Maresca. I'll tell you what, I won't be singing that chant anytime soon. Because as long as Sanchez continues to be our goalkeeper, Chelsea will continue to drop points because of him. And we've seen it on numerous occasions. What's that? 5 mistakes that have led to goals in the Premier League. It's the worst statistic in the league for a goalkeeper. He is the worst goalkeeper in the league. And he's making our manager look like a bum. Just like I said on TalkSport, if you play bums, then I'm going to treat you like you are a bum. Because you're not. It doesn't take a lot of footballing sense to change what's going on with the goalkeeper. Now, that being said, there is a contingency of the fan base that believe that there is a political element as to why Enzo Maresca continuously plays Robert Sanchez and defends him as much as he has. And the fact that we have, obviously, the sporting directors and Ben Roberts, who's in our goalkeeping department, was responsible for bringing Robert Sanchez to Chelsea as he worked with him at Brighton previously. Ben Roberts is obviously someone who needs to take an enormous amount of blame for recommending Sanchez in the first place. And we spent a total waste of £25 million on a useless goalkeeper that we can't resell for more than we paid for. And of course, he needs to have some accountability. But when people tell me that there's political pressure from up above to play Sanchez, and if Maresca doesn't do it, the club are going to be unhappy with him, they're forcing him to play Robert Sanchez, I don't think it's true. I really don't. If Sanchez was the only keeper that they had brought in and we had Kepa, maybe Mendy still on our books or whoever, you could potentially make that argument. But we have a lot of keepers that we've already signed, and Jorgensen is one of them. He was statistically one of the best goalkeepers in La Liga last season. And he can't even make it into Chelsea's starting 11 ahead of the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. And for me, I just find it baffling. I find it crazy. I think if I was in Jorgensen's situation, I'd be laughing. I mean, there's two ways you can look at it. You can look at it as an easy paycheck for Jorgensen. He doesn't really have to earn his money. He just trains and goes home. Also, though, the ambitious part of you says, hang on a second, you signed for Chelsea because you thought we were an ambitious club. You must be thinking, what am I doing here? I'm not even playing ahead of Sanchez. How does that work? Where is the logic in that decision? So listen, if Maresca continues to start Sanchez, he's got to go. He's got to go. It's not even a debate at this point. It's obvious. People are saying he should go for other reasons. I think to an extent, managers deserve a little bit more time to implement their systems, but maybe he's not even. If that contingency of the fan base is right and he hasn't got any power and he can't even choose the players that he wants to select, then we are finished as a club. But I don't think that it goes that far. Do I think Maresca is covering up some of the cracks in this club? Absolutely. Do I think he's deflecting from some of the real problems? Yes. And he's changed his tune since a few months ago. But yeah, it just strikes me as a manager who doesn't take cup competition seriously. We are a club that have a history of doing well in the FA Cup. We've done well in the Carabao Cup in past years. We might not have won many recently, but we always got to the final. At least we made it to Wembley for the semis, at least last season when we lost to Man City. We still should have won that game. And irrespective of what you think about Poch, did a lot more in the Cup than any of these other managers that we've had. And I'm worried that we're now going in a position where is top four that important that you're not even going to attempt to win silverware domestically? Is top four that much of a priority? Are we like the new Tottenham? Are we the Arsenal of 10 years ago, just looking to get top four and that's it? Is that where we are now as a club, that we go so far to become the most successful club in England over the past 20 years, only to not even attempt to retain that title, just giving it up completely? And that is a really worrying thing. It's I don't know how to feel, whether I should be angry, scared, fearful. I'm just a bit confused with it all. There's so many things that have happened, and I was naive enough to think that a lot of these things were in the best interests of our club. I don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't. Maresca needs to go. Sanchez definitely needs to go. I mean, just get rid of Sanchez and then it won't be a problem. And we could just have a goalkeeper and talk about tactics on the pitch. This goes beyond tactics. It's common sense. But that being said, again, there's a lot of players who aren't benefiting from Maresca. There are players who are. Fernandes, Caicedo, Cucurella, I think they look good. Palmer's created a lot of chances this season, but I would argue that in a lot of ways, he's actually been a problem in that 10 role because we've restricted what other players can do in that position, when you know that you get the best out of Palmer on the right based on last year's track record under Poch. You could have played João Felix much more. You could have played Nkunku in his rightful position. And then you'd have a happier squad. You wouldn't have to ship out all these players on loan because they're unhappy about their game time. And you could have developed some players as well, while still having quality, because that's what we lack at the moment. We lack quality, we lack cutting edge, because the tactics are stringent, aren't they? They're the same all the time. They never change. If you have top players, world-class players, Maurizio Sarri was lucky enough to have Eden Hazard. We had other top players in there as well. We had Kante. Jorginho was a good fit for Sarri's system. Top defenders as well. It's different. It's different. Because you have better players, you know you're going to win the majority of the games. And even when you finished fourth, it was a disaster, wasn't it? Everyone was complaining. Sarri left. Even with the Europa League as well and the Carabao Cup final. Maresca hasn't got the same quality of players. So you can't be as stringent with your ideas unless you accept that you're going to miss out on results. In which it was a terrible appointment in that sense, because the directors would have spoken to Maresca talking about a process, knowing that process was going to set us back another 2-3 years, because we have to sacrifice results for a style of play. Now, what club do you know that consistently... I don't even want to say it. What club do you know that sacrifices results to play good football and their fan base is happy with that? Tottenham. Is that what we are? Is that where we're going? I hope not. I really hope not. But that's my stance. If Maresca decides to play Sanchez, I think a large proportion of people that are on the fence will side with me and say he's got to go. If Jorgensen plays, fair enough. I'm not going to sit here and say I love Maresca, but maybe he has got some common sense. Maybe there is still a couple of brain cells in there that could be valuable for Chelsea. I don't know. But I can only say it how I see it right now. And right now, I don't see us going in a positive direction. I don't feel particularly positive about the club. I wouldn't say I'm a pessimist, but just a bit gloomy, really. But that being said, things can change. I think we can still get Champions League football, but when you look at the competition behind us, you'd have to argue, no, we can't, because we've regressed. They've brought players in, and we don't look like we're getting any better. It almost seems like the reverse of last season, starting poorly and finishing really strong. We started strong, and we're just slowly but surely capitulating. And I hope we don't bottle it, but I think there's a good chance we will. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So that's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree? And we'll catch up very soon.